Hello, hello, happy Tuesday. I am here with guest speaker Lena Leva, who is going to talk to us. She actually just finished her presentation on blue zones. If anybody has ever watched that documentary, it used to be on Netflix. I'm not sure if it still is. It should be. But it's really neat. Actually, here in Southwestern Florida, we live in a blue zone area as well. So it's a lot of the lifestyle factors that contribute, so very easy, simple shifts and changes that contribute to, hey girl, hey, I am sending you an invite to come live, that contribute to longevity and centenarians, so people living well into their hundreds.
Hello.
Hey, it's so nice when it works so smoothly.
I know. I was like waiting for you to introduce. Hello.
Hi everyone. So Lena is going to be talking to us today. We're going to be chatting around stress and workouts and the overwhelm in an age of a lot of information, a lot of overwhelm, what to do, and get to some of the sweeter stuff. So Lena chats about nutrition, exercise. She owns her own studio in Newtown, PA, Vici Wellness Studio. Can you remind me what Vici Wellness, what that means again, Lena?
Yeah, so I heard you talk about blue zones. So I just did my live in another group prior. So my studio is based and inspired by blue zones, and just the simple basic living styles that you know, uh, coordinate with those longevity factors. So Vici, VICI, means to conquer or I won in Latin. It is based off of the quote that was said to be said by Caesar. So it's Vini, Vidi, Vici. I saw, I came, I conquered. So I kind of made it these three pillars. You identify with a goal, you put in the work, right? You do the daily habits, and then eventually hopefully you'll win. So by coming to my studio you can win. And I made it wellness because nutrition and fitness intertwine with wellness, but I also have formed a health collective to bring so many other health and wellness practitioners in. So with workshops, from Reiki to gut health, to allergy specialists to physical therapists. So kind of bringing wellness full center here.
Yeah, a whole collective under one roof. I love that. And that's
Yeah.
the holistic side of it, well, is bringing all these specialties in. Because I know another something special that we've mentioned that you do that I think is so cool is the self-defense training too for women.
Yeah, of course. Yes. So I do a lot of that one-on-one, and I'm bringing that to Temple University. So
Yeah, that's
lots of,
right.
yeah. So lots of, it's forming a collective, especially with women, for empowering and educating.
Very, very cool. Are you up for diving into some merging of some nervous system stuff? And
Yes.
I am going to do a very quick this or that. I don't know if you're familiar, but I'm going to do a this or that, rattle off two things. And pertinent to you, it doesn't have to mean this is what you choose forever, but right now, where you are as a coach, as a CEO, as a trainer, tell me what, without thinking, you
Yes, I
gravitate
love it.
towards. Okay, cool. All right. So just a couple here for you. So, all right. Saunas or cold plunge,
Sauna,
Pilates or yoga,
Pilates,
morning or evening routine,
morning,
breathing or nature,
nature,
push up or sit up,
push up,
treadmill or treadmill or trail,
trail,
magnesium or collagen,
magnesium,
sunrise or sunset,
sunrise,
and for supplements, capsule or powder.
capsule.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for doing that with
That
us.
was fun, and it was so pertinent to like my lifestyle. I feel like you knew which ones to do. Or we're both similar in our daily habits. But that was great. I love that.
Yeah, and I think whatever, these are just to show that there's options too. Like you
Yeah.
could have said or chosen some of those differently from Lena or differently from myself, but just to have that reminder of our nervous systems at different times and different seasons of our lives are all can be supported differently. So like there's a time when cold plunging and something that we mentioned on another one of our chats was doing something that's a little bit more, I don't want to say extreme, but a little bit can be harsher on the body, especially if your nervous system is really, really out of whack. There's times when that can be really great, and there's times when that's a little bit too much, and the sauna could actually be better for you.
Yep.
So that's what that kind of conversation is what I'd love to dive in with you today.
Yeah.
So, all right, my first question for you is if someone wanted to get back into an exercise routine after being out of the game for a while, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I get this a lot with clients coming to me like, what should I do? And there's so much information out there where people are like Pilates, yoga, CrossFit. So number one is if you can't get anywhere, if you can't find a gym yet, you're not sure where you want to go for walks. I know here the weather's cold. I know in sunny Florida it's easier to go for walks. But I always say get some walks in. Start with 15 minutes if you're really, if they're not at that point of like motivation, I'm ready to go for an hour. I'm like, start with 15, 20 minutes a day. Um, you know, as many as you can this week, right? We'll start with 2 times a week and then bump it up. But walking daily, if you can, ideally 30 minutes. And strength training twice a week. So find some form of resistance training, whether it be an online YouTube video where you're doing push ups, pull ups, sit ups, lunges, or, getting to the gym and doing a circuit for 20, 30 minutes. Pilates, grabbing bands in your home. So, you can search a YouTube video of that and do it at your home or getting in person. Um, so as much as cardio is important, so is resistance training, but just moving in any way that you can. But I also say, find something that you like, try a class, start with the walks, but then try something new, right? If you don't like the gym atmosphere, maybe try a class there or go to yoga, Pilates. So do what you can where you can and start slow with the daily walking and just like getting moving more. So, momentum is how life works. So just getting started, and then you'll kind of find your motivation once you move.
Yeah. Yeah, keeping it simple. And I think there's a lot of fun things we can always add in, but that's
Mhm.
something that I'm always coming back to. And actually, the more years and time that I'm spending in my education and my learning of what is best and most suitable for my body and what it needs most, it ends up coming back to these simplest things, like Lena just said, like walking, getting sun on our skin, things that we've heard and we know. And maybe we're looking for something extra special because we think our problems are special and unique and they need some, very specific thing. But a lot of the time, all of this stuff can do a lot of good. So I'm going to ask you first because I'm not sure. I know that you do some online stuff, but you mentioned doing some strength training, incorporating that in with some YouTube, which is free to all of us, but there's so much
Yeah.
out there. Do you have one that you'd recommend on YouTube or even something online that you offer?
Yeah, so I do offer workout programs that, I can give you exact exercises. I can send you videos. There's apps where you can go on. Like I know Kickoff has an app where there's an exercise library. But YouTube, if you type in like basic strength training, and if you have weights, even great. If you have resistance bands, you can specifically type in, a resistance band exercise. But I do have some YouTube videos out there, myself, of some basics like basic Pilates, basic core, and basic weight training. But also my Instagram, I do post like workouts to add, workout Wednesday, I'll give you a written workout. But if you literally type in like basic strength training circuit, at home circuit and like whatever equipment you have, if it's dumbbells, kettlebell, or body weight as well. So you can type those in. But yeah, I do offer kind of on various platforms. I offer workouts that you can do for free at home.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So a couple different options for platforms, and even remembering when if you are doing a search, like basic at home circuit,
Yeah.
keeping it simple, maybe words like foundational or 101
Mhm.
circuit for, would you say like strength training as well is a
Yeah.
good keyword? Okay.
Yeah. Strength or even resistance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strength or resistance training. Okay. And I have to ask, because you said, getting out to walk, even if you're just starting for 15, 20 minutes a day, ideally getting up to about 30 minutes a day of even just walking outside, even in these cooler temps. And I don't want to go down the path, but we both know that even the opportunities that are offered to us, whether it's really warm outside and getting sun, or it's really cold and it's really great for your lungs and really great for other organs in our body, either way, understanding these benefits, even if the temperature doesn't feel comfortable or perfect, knowing that they're coming back to us, I want to ask you if you would still say, hi guys, good afternoon, Mandy, Alyssa, thanks for being here. I want to ask you if you believe that and this is something that I love, if I said to someone, okay, 15, 20 minutes feels like too much, just put on your
Uh,
timer and do three
yeah.
minutes or do
Yeah.
5 minutes. Do you still see the benefit? Have you ever advised people to do really, really tiny amounts like that?
100%. No matter what your goal is, if it's weight loss or if you're just getting back into things, I always say if you only have 3 minutes, like go for that. Seek those opportunities throughout the day. If you're feeling tired or something, like just moving. So 3 to 5 minutes is can be a starting point. And I kind of look at that, some of my clients, they're like, I don't have 15, 20 minutes to go for a walk. And I'm like, well, do you have five? Like you said, do you have three? Like you'll feel so much better. I've definitely told even a client that really thought even like 15, a 10-minute walk first was not, he kind of thought that's not going to do anything. Like, why would I waste my time? And I was like, it does. You have to build your endurance. They had some knee issues, and I was like, at your office, just get up. Like at least after lunch, just get up and walk around the office and do a lap. I missed her comment. I
She
didn't see
said,
it.
Alyssa said, I love to do 15-minute intervals, 5 minute
Yeah,
abs, 5 minute arms, 5 minute legs.
that's great. Intervals are great too. Whatever you can do, right? 15 minutes is just as effective. At starting somewhere, building your endurance, building your strength. So that's great.
Yeah, so those small bits go a long way. And that actually takes us right into something that Lena loves to talk about, that we were somehow always comes up because I think there's such an importance here is not only how long you're doing something, but the reason that I really guide people even into the 1%, into just getting out for 3 minutes or 1 minute or whatever you can do, is because of the mental block. And we were talking about this always comes up in themes with our conversations of manifesting what you want and just the mentality, the power of how you are doing something and what is motivating you. And even if it just takes a second, where do you see this fitting into personal training and encouraging people, motivating people, why it is so important? Is there something to be said for getting into a space of how they're exercising and who they're being when they're exercising?
Yeah. I always try to, a lot of people come to me weight loss or even within that weight loss, there's other issues, right? So I'm always starting from a point of a positive reason, a positive why, and a healthier relationship with your body. So a lot of people, you hear them like going for a run to burn off that the donut I ate, I shouldn't have ate that donut, and this like this cycle of guilt. So I kind of try to push that all away and say, hey, okay, you're working out. What are some cons we can say? What are some, sorry, pros we can say? Like you want to work out to be strong, you don't want to be out of breath. You just want to feel good. Like so I try to like tweak their mind to be like, hey, that 2 p.m. slump where you feel so tired and nothing kind of works and you don't want to reach for food, or you don't want to reach for another coffee, maybe we can go outside and take a breath of fresh air for 2 minutes, and like you'll awaken, you'll find your energy. So like seeking those opportunities. But when you start with a goal, you can manifest any goal, right? Like when you start with a goal, your brain automatically is just like shooting their wires out, and they are forming it subconsciously. So your brain will start to look for opportunities to reach your goal subconsciously. But I feel like still, when you start with that negative, like I want to lose weight because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, ugly, right? Like I hate to use that word, but some people
That,
will say that about themselves. So let's be honest. So people come and say, I look ugly in my bathing suit. And it's like, that's a negative reason. And we're not going to use that. Okay. We're going to switch it, right? I want to feel good. I want to be able to run. I want to have more energy. So we're going to think of that. And that will kind of keep us away from that negative feedback loop of like, oh, I didn't go for that 3-minute walk today. Now I feel bad. I feel ugly. It's like seeking those opportunities, looking for open windows. When you tell yourself you have 3 minutes, you will see more 3 minutes in the day to do it.
mm-hmm.
And it's just that subconscious putting it out there, and your brain is like, 3 minutes, let's go. So you're already motivating yourself by doing that. So it's kind of just like forming those little windows and tweaking things here and there for clients to do, because we can get so stuck in this. We need an hour. And if we don't do an hour workout, we're a failure. So keeping it positive, and having that like that manifestation thought process where your neurons do work towards it. So setting a clear intention will help as well.
Yeah, and putting those thoughts on repeat, because we know that our subconscious needs to hear it not once, not twice, not 3 times, a million times. I keep
Yeah.
hearing different statistics for this, that we have 60,000 thoughts a day and we have 80,000 thoughts a day. The one consistency is that number keeps growing, and as to how many thoughts they believe that the average person is having a day. And
Mhm.
because we're problem solvers, because we're rooted in survival mechanisms, a lot of these thoughts are looking for problems, they're looking for the negative. So it is so much the practice that Lena is speaking to. I love that. The really small windows, finding the back door, finding these little opportunities in our day
Yeah.
to bring something new in and have reminders of, okay, wait, what? We know a lot of us here, our why, our reason. Like, my biggest motivation, and I say this to anybody who asks for exercising because there's so many benefits, but my number one is because of my mental health. It's because of who I
Yeah.
am. If I don't move my body, even just for 5 minutes walking in 2 to 3 days, and who I start becoming, and it's not somebody that I love as much. So I know what I need. And talk about like feeling ugly or feeling all the negative stuff. I think a lot of people resonate with that, and we need to be able to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Not to put it on the forefront necessarily, but to say, hey, you're not the only one feeling like this. There's no shame, there's no guilt in feeling that way. That's how we're feeling. And so I wanted to ask you, what is your what is your biggest motivator? Because you are finding new fun ways to move your body, be a leader in your community. And I know for a lot of us, like that it doesn't just come naturally. So what is your biggest motivator that you either tell yourself or something that you're putting on repeat that really supports you?
Yeah. I mean, I really resonate with your motivation that you feel that you need it when you don't work out or just move your body in general. You feel kind of out of whack, maybe, yeah, not the best self. I do feel the same. I feel like I've always worked out because I liked it, and I found it as it regulates my nervous system right now. So I need it. And like, even, my significant other will be like, I think you didn't work out today. We need to kind of let that energy out. For me, it's like a space to be alone with my thoughts, to like self improve and better myself. Because I know that's how I can better,
Mm,
other people's lives.
mhm.
Can have that renewed energy to give it to others. And just being a leader in the community is just to educate and empower. I'm really big on educating. There's so much out there that is, maybe negative, but also just really confusing in this industry of health, fitness, nutrition. And we're all getting wrapped up in like trends and, what someone says on social media. And like, so I kind of just want to revamp it all and kind of be like, let's go back to basics, and educating and being that form of education, but also empowering people. So, you can be empowered through your sense of education, but also you're finding workouts that you like, right? Like, I don't want people to take that joy out of exercise and what it can be. So forming communities is huge with that. Trying to educate as much as I can and like being a leader. Health issues in my family was a big motivator for what I do. From like diabetes, eating disorders. I'm just here to educate and empower, because our health is super important, but there's so many aspects to it. Even weight loss, it's like, it's not just move more and eat less. Like, there's so much more to it. Not to say it's difficult, it can be difficult, but there's other factors. So taking away that judgment, to empower and educate for confidence, to kind of just, get the word out there to others that, you can form community, and there's simplicity to health and these, lifestyle factors, that it can be simple because it looks so hard, when we see all these trends, like, you have to go clean, cut this out, cut that out, and it can be so difficult. So I just like, okay, everyone needs to calm down and take a step back.
Yeah, yeah. And it can be so discouraging when all of a sudden you're following something that maybe took you a while to implement or you learned about, and now there's this other resource that's saying, oh no, that's not good. And it's like, hold on a second. They're not your body's resource. How do they know? But we're believing that because we're seeing, oh, they have this behind their name, behind their title. And we're getting so far away from everything that's in front of us, this age of overwhelm, this age of over information, that
Yeah.
one of the first things you just said was, your significant other is like, you're not really yourself. And being able to go move and doing it for you and actually having that personal time with yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things that we forget when we go to exercise. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like going to speed up and being on the stair climber and running on a treadmill. To me, that sounds awful. Like, that is not what my
Yeah.
nervous system needs most days. I actually
Right.
go to the gym to slow down and really be with myself. And I know, and something that like we've talked about is when you're actually being intentional about every single repetition, what you're doing when you're strength training versus cardio, when you're slowing down into movement and your intention, your focus is on that muscle that you're
Yeah.
moving. If you're like, okay, right now I'm doing something for the back of my arm, for my tricep,
Mhm.
you're actually exponentially growing that muscle because of just your mind focusing on that muscle. So not only now is your input, the time that you're spending, so much more powerful. It's like the same idea of going to the gym for an hour and being like, I'm so accomplished versus
Mhm.
I just went for 10 minutes, but I was so there. It gave back
Right.
to me. I had my personal time where, how simple is that? And I think people years ago did know that, and now it's about all of these other things.
Right.
And am I doing this right or that right? That I always love to come back and say, okay, are we breathing when we're
Right.
exercising? Especially like this group is for introverts, empaths, and something I actually want to ask you too is if you have any. I don't know if it's loud for you. I'm gonna close the door just for a second because we've got some lawn going on. But
Okay, that's okay. I can
okay,
hear.
good.
We'll see.
If you have any recommendations for people who
Sorry, I think I lost you. Sorry, you're frozen. Here.